Alright, welcome back. I'm going to be showing you today in this video how we're going to turn these couple pieces into the frames. Just going to show you how I do it. Everybody has their own way, but this is the method that I've come up with that I found to be the easiest. Alright, so fortunately for me, I do have a brad nailer stash stapler. So that's what I'll be using to assemble these frames. Now I know not everybody's going to have this, so it's not a necessity. Most of the frames, when you buy them unassembled, they will come with little bags full of nails. So you can just use the nails that are in there. So, no real need to get all fancy with some type of jig or anything. I don't think, anyways. Bees, when they're in the natural environment, if they make a nest inside of a tree, they're not making sure that the tree is perfectly square or plumb. So, we just begin by taking the two outside pieces, and then I have the top. I flip one side over, and I'm using staples for this. Staples work a little bit better, I found. Let me just put one in there, one in there. Grab the bottom bar, make sure our little groove is down, and then just feed them in here. The reason why some people use the guides or a jig is to make sure that they're perfectly square. However, these do come, they're all cut out of the same type of jig in order to make them square anyway. So you'll see that. Okay, sorry about that. Ran out of room on the memory card. Had to switch memory cards real quick. So, as I was saying though, you can see that it's pretty close to being square if we just compare it on my body that I have here. We'll, just double check to make sure it's not way out of whack, but it's looking pretty good. So, I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple of these. You guys can watch along. Don't work at your house. So you don't like these staples because, let's say, just 20 side breaks, you're place inside, you're pretty much running these staples so well. So that's one downside to using staples, but I also think it's kind of a good thing too. They won't really well. Obviously, now that's going to take a little bit longer. Doesn't take that long. I also have a couple on-boards that I bought from the ads, and I also have a couple tie covers here. And I've heard of the also covers as well, over some of those. I can't make your own, not that difficult, but I just thought I would buy a couple more. This time around, I need more. Cool, for me, next time. Go ahead and use it. They were just be careful to figure out the way out. The things can fly out there into your flesh. Alright, next I will show you how I do the inside the foundation. So, be right back with that, right? Okay, so the next step is going to be showing you how to install the foundation into the frames. So we'll go ahead and get started with that, alright? Okay, so begin with your frame, and if you'll notice there is a little, on one side of the top piece here, there is a little bit of there's one side has like a shim. So what I do is take my knife, break that free that way. That one actually came out very nicely. And then just clean up this inside little lip right here. just clean up that. Alright. So then the next step is to grab our wax. Now there's different types of wax foundations. I like to use this that has the wires in it that are embedded into it. There's also this stuff that is called Duralit, which they have little communication holes built into them. The problem I have seen with this though is that there is a plastic little piece in the middle that the wax is actually stuck to give it some rigidity, and so it's not super like the wax isn't going to break super easily. But I found that the bees actually don't like that, and sometimes they will take all the wax off of it or not draw off one side or draw it out. So I'm actually going to start shying away from that after I use up about the last 10 sheets that I have or so. But with the crimped wire one, it comes with the wires in there. They have little L shapes to them. So the little pieces go into your little frame sticking up, and once I get it in the guide on the bottom bar, I'll show you what that looks like. So just like that. They go face up towards you, and then try to make sure it's somewhat centered in between the two sides. Not a huge deal if it doesn't. Take your shim, push it down nice and tightly, and then put 2 or 3 brads in. One on the end, one on the middle, and then one on the end again. So holding it nice and tightly in there. Now, in order to make it stay nice and secure, I'm going to use some fishing line to make an X. But before I do that, it's awfully blurry. There we go. So before I do that though, I'm going to put some nails to connect my wire to, because I don't use the brass eyelets. So I put one nail in above the first eyelet and then one nail in a little bit below the last eyelet. So there's 4 on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And see, I put one nail right here and then one nail right here. Now take your string and feed it from the outside into the bottom one, or you could do the top, and then make an X. So I'm coming across to the very top over here, coming down to the bottom eyelet down here, and then again making another X, coming up here, and then make a little knot. And then put your knot around it, your the nail, and then just wind it around a couple more times. And then take your hammer, push it down like that. Now make sure you know which one is going back through and then which is the little scrap end. And then just cut it off. And then take your other end that's attached to your, and then just the reel or the string, pull it nice and tight. And then I just make a couple loop-de-loops around. And again, just make sure this is pulled tight, and then alright, so very nice. Creates a little X, you can see. And then we just do the same to the other side. 2 nails, string fishing line. And you can use any fishing line that you have. Cheapest, whatever's on sale. If you have some left over, doesn't really matter. The person who I got this idea from was the Fat Bee Man, Don, and it seems to work pretty well, I've noticed. You don't have to buy those expensive brass eyelets, and you don't have to put 4 strands on there. So this is a little bit easier and a little bit more cost effective. We just repeat. And on how many frames you have, and how many hives. It's going to depend on how many times you have to repeat this. So I was also watching one of Don's videos here recently, and he recommended changing out your wax every 2 to 3 years. Most people go through their hives and look and see if the wax is fine, they just leave it. But his rationale is that there's going to be wax moss in almost every hive. So what that's going to do is help to break that cycle of the wax moss. So, alright, so here's the finished product. It looks really nice. I gotta tap those brads in and readjust my nailer. Alright. So, and like I said, just repeat about 50 to 60 times. So, alright, and then there you have it. So that is all. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, not real rocket science. So my next video that I'll probably be making is, I have a couple of these bottom boards that I just recently got. So I've been putting those together kind of just as a little instructional video. Not very difficult. But till next time, don't forget to like, comment, and share.